right, here we go.
Hey.
Hopefully all the sponsors come back because I think we rolled with whoever the
That's all right. We have a lot of them.
That looks sharp, dude. Dave, the top left where it says Mainland Baseball -CVC, we got to change that to Down Beach. Down Beach CVC or Down Beach Baseball?
Down Beach CVC. Yeah.
Down Beach -CVC.
Yeah.
Yeah. That top corner, you can change that? Yeah. That's fine.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. We have the things over there. I can always double check.
Okay.
Man, that looks cool. The bats are cool.
Yeah, man. There we go. Perfect.
Looks good.
Yes, sir. Forgetting my work gear. It's great. Good evening and welcome to Charlie's Bar and Grill here in Summers Point. It is the Down Beach Coaches vs. Cancer Kickoff Show. Doug Stasic, Mike Edwards, the president of the Down Beach CVC. We are here joined by quite a few coaches that have come from near and far. And as everybody now tells me, Mike, this is the official kickoff to the 2025 baseball season.
Yeah, we like to take advantage of the opportunity that Charlie's gives us here in Summers Point. They've been a tremendous host now for a couple of years, and a lot of guys talk about this kind of being that thing that gets you over the hump and ready for the season to get rolling.
Again, right after Super Bowl week, of course, for our beloved Birds.
Go Birds.
A lot of reasons people want to pony up around the proverbial bar, but tonight is great because not only is it the kickoff show, but it's actually what's become now the annual Beef and Beer.
Correct. Yeah, we do a little, additional charity event. We try to raise a couple bucks, and every little bit helps. We got some additional scholarships and some things that we're going to be giving out this year. So it's nice to get everyone together. It's a good cause. A lot of coaches, great fraternity of coaches, and like you said, we have guys from near and far. We have guys that travel quite a bit of time to get down here and join everyone and have a good night.
So our official 12th Coaches versus Cancer event, am I right on that?
I think this is 13. 13,
Lucky
yeah.
13.
It's 14 years. I think 13 years total because of COVID, yep.
And so running totals, over $200,000 has been raised and donated to the American Cancer Society and Gilda's Club. That's something obvious if you're new to the Coaches versus Cancer event because, we're not getting any younger, Mike.
Yeah, I know, unfortunately.
So we've been here for like 13 years.
Yeah.
You have first-timers, you have first-time families. So talk a little bit about those maybe not hard to believe, familiar with the event, of what inspired you to start the Coaches versus Cancer Classic.
Yeah, I mean, recently I lost my dad a couple years ago to cancer. And then years ago, over 20 years now, I lost my mother to cancer. And it was during my first year coaching back home at my home school. I coached the year Holy Spirit, and then I went on to Millville. And we had a kind of a neat setup, and we looked at an opportunity of kind of creating something like we see in the college hoops world, the Coaches versus Cancer concept. And we brought it to South Jersey high school baseball. Really in honor of my mother and my father, obviously more recently joined the cause, and I had a lot of friends that were in the midst of dealing with parents and loved ones that were experiencing similar battles against cancer, and it was just kind of one of those things where I said, I got to try to turn this into something positive, turn it into something that I could give back to the community. And my platform has always been baseball, so it was a no-brainer. We started year one with 12 teams, and I think we raised about $1,200. And now, on a yearly basis, we're raising over $50,000 a year to give to the American Cancer Society. We've established a relationship with the Gilda's Club locally, and in more recent years, we've established some scholarships that we provide to student athletes that are affected by cancer.
Well, it's a phenomenal and inspiring tale. It brings so many families and players together. Year now after year, we hear these stories of inspiration, right? Reasons for people to continue the fight, extend the months, extend the years. They're benefiting from some of the research. In 13 years, the technology has evolved, the medicine has evolved, and even last year, you were telling me when you and I caught up just earlier on this week, a scenario where families were hoping that somebody might be still around for a first pitch.
Right.
And not only was she able to make the first pitch last year, but seems like she's going to be around this year too.
Yeah, it was a story that hit close to home. One of my very best friends over the years, a former coaching colleague of mine, Kenny Williams. His mother-in-law has been fighting a really difficult battle, and last year she got a chance to throw a pitch to her grandson Kyle, and it was an incredibly emotional time because she had been fighting really, really, really hard. And kind of used the opportunity to be on the baseball field with her grandson Kyle as a source of motivation. And when she shared her story with me, and I had an opportunity to kind of reflect with Kenny, it was an emotional time. I'm getting emotional now just talking about it. And she's continued to fight, and their family, and Kenny and his wife Carol, and Kyle and Corinne, they're family to us, to my wife and I. And to be able to share that experience, it's why we do what we do. And like I said, I'm getting emotional talking about it. I don't mind doing that because it's important to all of us. And we've all been affected some way or another. And it's not something we certainly look forward to, but we know that it's borderline inevitable in our lives to not be affected in some way, some loved one be affected. So, being able to do that for one of my dearest friends, and it's humbling, and it's a tremendous honor that I take a great deal of pride in.
There's so much to be proud of. And the reality is, the longer the event goes on, the higher the probability that someone involved with this organization or with the team is eventually going to see either themselves or their family impacted by cancer. We talked about the monies that have been donated and raised, but there's also a facet that there's scholarships. Scholarships have been named in honor of a lot of your family members. Talk a little bit about the scholarships.
Yeah, so we were inspired a couple years ago by a young man at Holy Spirit who played in our event, and we wanted to be able to specifically give back to kids that not only came to our event and participated, but he had a special story to tell. He had lost his father to cancer, and just like us, he used baseball as a coping mechanism, just like we all in this fraternity, just like we all do, and it inspired us. He was an inspiration to us, and we said, let's give back locally to kids that immediately participate in our event. We established a scholarship in Kenneth and Kathleen Edwards Memorial Scholarship in honor of my mother and father, and our scholarship's $2,500. I had kind of almost made a decision early on that if we had given scholarships, I wanted to give a scholarship that was significant enough and meaningful to someone. I didn't want to get involved in a world where we were giving scholarships, for like $100 here and there. Not that they're not meaningful, but I wanted to make sure that we were in a position where we were generating enough money that we could give a significant amount of money to a young man. And it's been a tremendous experience for all of us. Given that check every year is it's another example of just an emotional time where, we're on the field and we're sharing baseball, and we're sharing our story, we're sharing our struggles, and we're sharing our victories too. And in my eyes, that's a little token of what we can do to help these kids. Give them a win, give them a small victory, and help them. And it's been tremendous. We have an application process. We screen the applicants, and each award winner submits an essay, and they're very touching stories. They're usually tough to get through. Usually take a couple different reads to get through those, but it's an honor again for us to be able to impact these young men and give them something positive in the midst of their struggle.
So a total of $10,000 in scholarships will be presented in honor of your family members, and that means 4 different student athletes will be provided an opportunity to earn some hard-earned dollars, we'll call it, into the college and the college education fund. And for me, Mike, personally, the time has come that I've been impacted.
Correct.
From a cancer standpoint. So my father-in-law, back around Thanksgiving, ended up in town for his grandson's wedding, and wouldn't you know, just didn't feel quite right. Went to the emergency room, was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. It was metastatic, and 2 months later, that quick, he left. He left us after a brief battle. It was something that I've never experienced before in my life, but his courage, his passion for the game, he loved everything that was done at the CBC, what you and the rest of the board members have done, watching his grandson, both his grandsons getting a chance to play in the event. And so on behalf of my family, we're proud that we are going to join the fight and join in the honors of giving out another scholarship this year. So $2,500 will be named in memory of Pop Edward Hovsepian, lifetime South Jersey baseball fan, avid Phillies fan, man that served with pride in the Navy, and he was a retired dentist. So we're looking to maybe find a player in this event or a family that's been impacted that has a future in the military, future in med school, and add to this cause. And again, you guys have inspired me. And a lot of changes this year, right? So that's like one of the cool changes.
Yeah, we're excited about that. We're incredibly grateful. Not to cut you off, but man, we're super excited to add an additional scholarship. It's just it's awesome to give this money to these kids. But yeah, there's been a lot of changes. Yep,
Yeah.
sure.
So we go from you talked about where it started. So a lot of people probably don't remember that it started on the fields of Millville.
Correct, yeah.
And then after a period of time, you went over to mainland, took it with you to mainland, and the winds have kind of changed. And because we've had so many teams from around South Jersey, we kind of tongue-in-cheek, I've dubbed some things the Shuby Special, where we even have some teams that come down from Pennsylvania. But they also enjoy traveling down to the shore. We took one of the night games to Margate over the last season, and we thought, well, you know what? Maybe we need to start embracing the beach a little bit from a marketing standpoint. And now Margate is the official home of the event. So a neutral location, a place that everybody can come down, enjoy the shore a little bit early.
Yep.
So pretty excited about that.
Yeah, and we're fortunate enough to live in an area that's we get to smell when it's low tide, and we get to feel the salt air in our skin, and some things occur over the course of the year, and we're forced to kind of take a new route. So we've rebranded, and we're trying to take advantage of the beach theme, and people love to come down to the beach, and Margate opened their doors for us last year and let us in, and we can't really express enough gratitude to the city of Margate. We've been in contact with them over the last year, and they've welcomed us with open arms, and the people over in Margate, we couldn't ask for an easier process to find a location that we know is going to be in good shape. We know it's going to be it's a tremendous venue. It's got a really small town beach feel to it. It's almost got a little Cape Cod kind of feel to it, Summer League feel to it. It's just a tremendous venue. The city's been great. We want to give back to the city. We want to make it worth their while, and no better way to do that than bring 32 high school baseball teams into the town and put on a good show, and not just put on a good show, but put on a good show for a great cause. And we couldn't be happier with the change of scenery. It's kind of breathed some new life into our event, and created a little bit newer excitement, and we're thrilled.
And it gives us 3 nights of lights.
That's right.
So we got
in April, so bundle up.
Yeah. So 3 nights of lights. The event happens to fall on spring break week. So we're going to get into the schedule. Obviously, people tuning in for the big schedule unveil. And, man, we're super excited. New faces, new places, a new brand. It's the Down Beach CVC. You see the QR code that's right there on your screen. So please, the event starts tonight officially.
Yes,
Every dollar helps, whether you can give us $1, $100, or $1,000. Check out Down Beach-CVC to help us kick off the 2025 campaign. So don't go anywhere. We're going to bring in some of the coaches to help us unveil the schedule. The event is Thursday, April 24th. It starts right there, Jerome Avenue in Margate, right at Jerome Avenue Park. And the first games are going to be Cherry Hill East versus Haddon Township, Bridgton versus Atlantic City, and Cherry Hill West versus Hamilton. So don't go anywhere. A couple of familiar faces who always take great pride in kicking off the Coaches versus Cancer Classic. They're coming up next. It's Mike Villela and Brent Bean right here on BFA Sports.
I do.
Back here at the Coaches versus Cancer Kickoff, Beef and Beer, the Down Beach edition, Down Beach-CBC. Check it out, Venmo, every dollar helps.
Absolutely.
And two guys that are a pair of legends in the coaching circuit, and specifically for Coaches versus Cancer. So I'm joined by Atlantic City coach Brent Bean and Bridgton head coach Mike Villela. And guys, for whatever reason it is, you always have the classic battle, the nail scratcher, the down to the final at bat game, and it's always Bridgton AC, and it's always memorable. So are you guys some kind of Vegas handicappers that you need to tell us about?
I wish I could tell you we were. I think we both know our teams very well and how they compete against each other. Mike, you would know this way better than I do, but I think this might be the 8th year that we are playing each other.
You know, I'm not exactly sure, but that sounds about right.
Yeah.
7th or 8th year?
Yeah. So we've had, obviously with the walk-off, stolen home base the 1 year, a lot of great memories that we've had between our teams over the years.
So I'm going to have a confession right here. The BFA announcers, they legitimately argue over who's going to get a chance to call Bridgton AC because they know at the end it's going to be a game.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true. Al Fisher, Mike Gill, myself, and Vin Ebenu are constantly like, who's getting Bridgton AC? Because they just know that at the end of the game, you guys are going to do something. It's going to be a suicide squeeze. It's going to be the stolen base of home. Like, they know the moment is coming, and we're going to clip it, put it on social. Yeah. So it's big for your kids. But talk about, we're only going to be a couple weekends into the season. But when you look at the calendar, they all know CBC.
Yeah, Bean mentioned the word compete earlier. And, that's what these kids love to do. A few years back, we took a ride up to Cooperstown together. And I think the bond was struck then, got it even a stronger bond. And the guys really do. They have a lot in common. The fact that we're not from the greatest socioeconomic status, but the kids love to play baseball. And, whether they're coming from Dominican, PR, Mexico, the guys love playing ball. And, I hope we can have a little bit better performance than last year. It wasn't real good on the Bulldogs end. But we do for the second straight year. We play them I think 3 straight times, play them in the CVC, and then 2 the following week. So
so that's a good point. Last year we obviously played in CVC, which we have done for the last number of years.
They're in the division together,
and then we are in the same division, so we come back and we play Monday, Tuesday. So, which is also good because, like Mike said, when we went to Cooperstown a couple years ago, AC and Bridgton kind of bonded. And it was actually kind of fun to really see young kids in high school kind of hang out, swimming together, having a good time, having dinner together. Yep. And then when they meet each other on the field, it was like everything was fine. Let's just play baseball.
Yeah. And able to relax and get after it.
And I think the way Mike and I are in our personalities, we kind of portray that to our kids.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is always going to be a rivalry between AC and Bridgton. And it's fun. I think it's one of those things that Mike and I know when we're in CVC, we're always going to play each other, whether we change divisions or not throughout the years.
Yep.
So talk about any returners. So, Mike, traditionally you got younger guys, but all of a sudden they start to flourish. They join you freshman year, they get a little bit of a taste, and then by junior into senior year, things start to click.
Yeah, we got a few returners this year. I think we have 5 or 6 seniors that are coming back, so it's probably one of the bigger senior classes I've had in the last 23 years. Yeah. So hopefully that'll provide some better moments than not for us.
Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to us playing on a Thursday now to open this thing up. Before it was a Saturday morning, then it was a Friday afternoon. Now we're a Thursday. Pretty soon we're going to be on that Tuesday in Dayton, Ohio.
Hey, listen, we're okay with that.
As long as we're in it, I'm okay with it.
Thursday at 4 p.m.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thursday at 4 p.m. So, Bean, I got to ask. So Pop Lloyd Stadium has had a refurbish. It's got a new face. It has this proverbial Smurf turf that some people are familiar with in Boise State. Are we going to see the Vikings at all?
So
you're going to get a shot at that this year.
I don't know if we're going to see it this year. I don't know if it's going to be complete by the time the high school season rolls around. Okay. My biggest concern right now, I would love to. I just don't know if the dimensions of the field are going to be high school ready.
Interesting.
I do believe that was mostly built for Little League.
Okay.
And like rec softball and everything else.
Breaking news.
Yeah, so hopefully when it's all built and I get a chance to go and take a tour of it and everything else, I will get a good idea. I think it would be great for our kids in the city, and with the lights and everything, to have a night game right downtown in the city. It would be something
we'll sign
special.
up to be your opponent. You know that. We'll take the trip down.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see. You never know what's going to happen with that. We'll play it out.
So, last question for you guys. Personal meaning for being a part of the Down Beach CBC after all these years. Being you're a survivor in your own right. Not everybody knows that.
No. And I don't really put it out there, but having melanoma 2 times on the right side of my face has made it a little bit more close to home to me. And the guys that I work with, as being a board member of the CBC, they made it really special for me a couple years ago when Mike and I played. Just to let everybody kind of know, I don't put it out there much. Don't really want to, but guys here make it very special. Mike and I, if I'm not wrong, we've been in this since the very beginning.
Correct. Yeah, when it was in Millville.
When it was in Millville, Mike and I are one of only a few that are still in this from the very beginning, and that's something that I'm very proud of, and I know Mike is as well. And I really get my kids amped up for the game, and Mike and I have talked about this in depth. I know Mike does the same thing with his young men. So, I don't want to talk about it because you get me all jammed up.
So, Mike, how about you? What inspires you to be a part of this?
The first pitch thing is phenomenal. I've had players come in and do it, current players, current coaches, and my father has been diagnosed with prostate, and he's been fighting that for a couple of years now, so he's on the mend in remission. So it really is a disease that affects everyone, from coaches to players right up to parents and family members. So we always love to be a part of it, and we're really looking forward to get it started again.
Yeah. So let's throw that schedule up one more time for Thursday. Our producer, Dave Virgilio. 1 o'clock, Cherry Hill East versus Haddon Township. 4 o'clock, the always classic Bridgton versus Atlantic City. And under the lights, it'll be the Lions of Cherry Hill West taking on the Hamilton Blue Devils, all right at the Jerome Avenue Park, new home of the Down Beach CBC. So, coaches, want to thank you guys for joining us. And
thank you for having
looking
us.
forward to a great season here on BFA Sports, and, of course, following you guys around all season
thank
long.
you. We always appreciate it, Doug.
All
Do
right.
a great job,
Thank
sir.
you, Doug.
Don't
Appreciate
go
it.
anywhere. We got more matchups, more schedule announcements. They're coming up next. Don't forget to donate. Downbeach-CBC on Venmo. Welcome back to Charlie's. Been here since 1944. It's home of the Coaches versus Cancer Beef and Beer Kickoff. It's the Down Beach CVC on your Venmo app. Doug Stasic now joined by a couple of CVC board members, and that's Holy Spirit head coach Steve Normain, the president of the Down Beach CVC, Mike Edwards, welcoming him back. And Coach, some roster changes at Holy Spirit, and a big one at that. Not to knock Mike, but it's a big one.
I mean, anytime you can add an alum, national baseball coach, assistant coach of the year, CVC president. I mean, his resume, it's endless.
And he's a Holy Spirit alum.
And it just came, and I can't be more excited to have Mike with us.
Well, as a Spartan alum in my own right, I know that the program is in fantastic hands for sure. And so to know that, Mike Edwards is no longer out there trying to beat the Spartans, but he's trying to help lead the Spartans, I'm all on board with that every day of the week.
I mean, it doesn't get much better.
I like a table full of Spartans. That's all right.
That's it, man. We just need the shield and the spears. Spartans, time for glory. Anyway, so guys, you're taking on Lenape. So an out-of-conference matchup, to say the least. Always a deep one. We know Coach Matt Woods is out there taking copious notes. So what can we expect from the Holy Spirit Spartans here, the 2025 campaign?
So a lot of familiarity, a lot of returners. We have a lot of senior pitching back, infield, outfield guys. Like I said, we lost some seniors last year, but there's a lot of guys who contributed a lot of varsity playing time last year, a lot of varsity innings. So we're excited. We're excited. A lot of these seniors have been with me since they were freshmen, have played since they were freshmen. So we're excited to get them back this year and really see what they can do. This should be the culmination of a lot of hard work and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that these guys have put in. So we're excited. We're excited to see what can turn out from these past 4 years for these guys.
So for Mike, you get to join this staff. You get to look at the roster of talent. It's extremely deep, and they're proven because, again, when they were young and Coach Normain kind of threw them into the fire, now you get to kind of see those dividends. And with your experience and having deep playoff runs in your own right, you got to be excited.
Yeah, I mean, there's some names that I've seen on a lineup card for a long, long time, and there's always those years where you're like, man, I feel like this guy's been here for 7-8 years, and Spirit's got about 5 or 6 of those guys that they've been through some battles. They've experienced some of the game's highs and lows. When you play that long and you're in a program long enough, and you're competing with each other that long, you have to understand that you're going to experience some failures, but at a young age, it's hard. It's a hard game to play against some of these older kids, and I know Coach Normain put them in the fire right away, and these kids are ready. They're battle tested, and that's something that I've always recognized coaching against the program is these guys are old school, tough, hard nosed, just grinder type kids, and they're going to compete, and that's something we always knew when we lined up, in the other dugout against them.
So, Coach, you wear multiple hats over there at Holy Spirit, being the athletic director in its own right. So as you're building this schedule, CVC this year falls into that kind of like third weekend. How do you kind of manage and get the team fired up? Because this is always the adrenaline game, right? Like these guys are going to be right there in Margate. We're going to, in a second, we'll show you the kind of lineup of the games that are going to hit on Friday. But how do you get the team prepared mentally for knowing that the lights are coming on?
I don't know that I have to do much.
Okay.
This team went through I don't even remember what it was. It was 11 or 13 game losing streak last year that they broke at CVC, which resulted in an amazing game against Cherokee that we were fortunate enough to pull out, and it resulted in one of those rare midseason dog piles. So these guys understand what CVC means, and I caught some flack from the rest of the board for that one. But I mean, hey, how much more electric can you get than kids caring this much about the cause and about the event to say this win's worthy of jumping on top of each other on the pitcher's mound. So I'm not sure we're going to have to get them riled up. I think we might actually have to rein them in a little bit because and it's not just Holy Spirit. Like, I think everybody in South Jersey, everybody who participates in this event understands what it means and understands how electric a win can be, because a win doesn't just get you a win on the scorecard. It gets you a win for something bigger. And these kids really buy into that, and I love it because it's obviously my favorite event of the year.
And so going to Holy Spirit, my own right, much like you guys, you kind of, your social life, the social scene is down beach. Margate is at the epicenter of it. So now, you guys have the ability, a lot of kids naturally, it's a magnet to the program. They know what it means academically to go to Holy Spirit. They know the value of that, how it puts them in a good spot from a college education standpoint. The athletics for decades have been second to none. So now, right in the heart of the down beach, I'm anticipating that there's going to be quite a few Holy Spirit alum that make an appearance at this Coaches versus Cancer to support the Spartans.
Absolutely.
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping to get them out and make them proud and see them out there. In the old days, I spent a couple days and nights in Margate my day.
Yeah. No question about it. From a Lenape standpoint, that's going to be the matchup. We know year after year, Lenape never rebuilds. They just tend to regenerate. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at Coach Matt Woods, he's taking the helm. He's ready to march the team out. We're expecting to see big-time pitching and some power bats in the middle lineup with some names, I guess, that South Jersey baseball fans everywhere tend to every so often. You're like, there's another one of those kids at Lenape again?
Right.
So talk a little bit about what's it like to prepare for a team that you don't normally see in the course of a year, and quite candidly, you don't really have a history against.
No, not much history at all. Honestly, we rarely happen to have a scrimmage against them last year. So we scrimmaged them in the early spring. It was freezing out, and we went up to Lenape and played them. And I mean, it was for a scrimmage. It was intense. I remember our guys were chirping back and forth, and so we know what we're getting here. Same thing with Cherokee last year. These are the kind of matchups that you get in CVC because you don't normally get them in your out-of-conference schedule. So, they have a history of being well-prepared, competitive, well-coached. So, that's our job now to get these kids prepared for that battle.
Well, let's take a look at the Friday schedule. Holy Spirit versus Lenape right in the thick of things. Again, of course, the lineup presented by Game Changer. Be sure to download the Game Changer app, gc.com. All of the BFA streams will be on the Game Changer app. So, Friday during spring break, 9 a.m., the Breakfast Bonanza, Apsagami versus Overbrook. Coach Greg Himes is in the building tonight. 11:30, it's Clearview versus Rancocas Valley. 2 o'clock, Delsea versus Shawnee. 4:30, I stand corrected, Holy Spirit versus Lenape. And the nightcap, Ocean City versus Cherokee, which in just a few minutes we're going to get a chance to sit down with Coach Dewey Bristol and Mark Paganini. So, guys, this is absolutely fantastic. I mean, is this not now the official first night of the baseball season?
What a day. What a day. Did you see that lineup?
I'm telling you, man. It's
Yeah,
it's 5 games coming at you on a Friday during spring break.
Margate.
In Margate. So we're counting on Mother Nature to be in the lineup for all of these games, bringing plenty of sunshine and some just a light breeze. Just a light breeze.
Slightly off the ocean.
Yeah. Guys, so talk about anything else that people need to know about this fantastic event. Mike, I know you love the collectibles and some of these prizes that people can win. So what's the lineup look like?
So every year we give out a player of the game. That we give an autographed Mike Trout baseball to, so that's a neat prize for the player of the game. We also this year have partnered with Marucci, who has donated some bats. So every player of the game is going to receive a brand new Marucci with Downbeat CVC on it.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They're a good looking piece of equipment. And then we outfit all the teams with Rawlings helmets with our CVC logos on it. Rawlings was kind enough last year to donate these to our organization. So that's pretty neat to see the teams out there wearing the wearing the Carolina blue, and we got a lot of stuff going on. Plenty of merchandise at the event. We sell lots of gear, like I said, it's always for a good cause, and we take all the money that we're able to make off of those items, and we give it right back to the community.
Well, you can start tonight. Every dollar counts. Downbeach-CVC right through the Venmo app. And, of course, be sure to check out the website for if you're a business owner and you're looking like many of our former and current sponsors along the bottom part of your screen right now, where they can be everything from a singles, a doubles, a home run, or a grand slam sponsor.
Correct. Yep. We have plenty of information on our website. You can always find a way to get in touch with us. And off of our website, and we'll be more than happy to connect and see what we can do.
No better cause.
All 17 games will be live streamed right here on BFA Sports and through the Game Changer scoring app powered by Dick's Sporting Goods, which also means if you get a sponsorship for your business, it's going to be promoted throughout our entire broadcast, and not just one, not just two, but all 17 games right here at the Down Beach Coaches versus Cancer. So Coach Normain, Coach Edwards, the Spartans are in the building. Well, we are moving on. A few more matchups, and our Saturday and Sunday schedules are coming up. So don't go anywhere. We're live from Charlie's. It's the Down Beach Coaches versus Cancer Beef and Beer Kickoff. We're back at Charlie's. It's the Down Beach Coaches versus Cancer Kickoff Beef and Beer. And now I'm joined by a pair of legendary South Jersey coaches, and that would be Ocean City's Dewey Bristol and Cherokee's Mark Petrani. So, guys, 7 p.m. Saturday in Margate.
Friday
Friday night lights. That's right.
Yeah.
So usually it's a football special. Friday night under the lights, 7 p.m. And a lot of energy, a lot of electric. So, Mark, I'm going to start with you because, Coach Dewey and the Red Raiders are kind of used to playing right on the water all year long. But for Cherokee, you guys love to come down to Margate probably in June. But how are you feeling about this in April?
We're excited. We're hoping for a warm day, but if it's not, it's not. We played in cold weather. We're just looking forward to being part of it again. Anything Mike and Billy need us to do, we are more than willing to do. And, we're coaching against one of the nicest people in the world, a great man, a great coach, and we just look forward to the challenge.
Well, it's like a clash of a couple titans. So how are you feeling this year about the Red Raiders pitching staff, which seems to just regenerate like octopuses have those tentacles, man?
Well, first of all, I just want to echo what Mark said. One of my favorite guys, and we've been meeting up every year preseason, and got to know him really well, and just the class of his conference. And so when I found out I was playing him, I was really happy because we've all become pretty good friends through all of this, and it's a competitive thing. But at the end of the day, you look forward to it, and you look forward to playing against your friends. And anytime I can watch him play in something like this, I'm rooting for him. So just a program that I remember when I first started coaching, and we were just an up-and-coming high school baseball team, and we'd go up there and we'd get our rear ends kicked, and the Olympic was no joke. And I would watch. I remember Cherokee just beating us, and I said, this is what we got to strive for. We got to be like these teams, and that's something that we worked hard at. So to be able to play them and compete with them is important to our program and our league. And I've been fortunate with that pitching staff, and it just seems like every year I get good arms.
Yeah.
And I return a few of those, and I look forward to getting out there with them.
So, Coach P, Cherokee, year after year, we talk about the Red Raiders pitching staff, and that's really what their bread and butter they're known for. But you have this sense of every single year, your defense stands on its head. It's like having hockey goalies out there, especially in the infield. And then you seem to have power all through the lineup. There's not really, I never see a drop-off no matter. It must be a nightmare for you to make a lineup card.
It's a good problem to have, no question about it. We're just blessed, Marlton's an area that can support the instruction of the kids at a high level outside of school, which is obviously what takes place at this point in time, and with the AAU circuits and the lessons and everything like that. So they come to us as such strong products. It's just a matter of don't mess it up. Just keep them encouraged, try to make sure they're having fun. Do everything you can to make it a positive experience on and off the field, and then just try to keep it rolling.
So we talked about the depth. We've talked about you guys being at the helm for quite a period of time. But the one thing you also enjoy is you guys have an amazingly dedicated staff from an assistant standpoint. Guys that have been with you, it seems like forever. And I always look at the roster, right? And you always say, hey, there's opportunities. There's jobs that come open. But your guys love being where they're at and love coaching with you. So talk to us about, I ran into Ed Terry back there. These guys are awesome.
You're only as good as your assistants. And I think the most important thing is that, for me anyway, I don't feel like I have an ego. And so whatever they say, I listen to. And I'm more, and Ed calls me this, Ed Terry calls me this, the facilitator of baseball. So I let the geniuses do what they do, and I try not to get in the way of that. And it really works, and we're great friends.
Yeah.
You know, so we spend a lot of time off the field together.
Absolutely.
And we talked all the time, and we count it down till that March 10th, and it's like Christmas. You know, so.
And it's the same thing with you. I mean, Coach Steve's been with you seems like forever too.
This is our 17th year as the coach, and one of the things I'm most proud of, our paid staff has not changed in 17 years.
It's amazing.
There has not been a Cherokee baseball paid job available since we took over.
Wow.
And that's a testament to those guys, Coach Dolores, Coach Gismondi, Coach Graham. We have our volunteer assistant, Coach Gross, has been here every year except one when his father ran into some health issues and he wasn't able to come out and volunteer.
Yeah.
But it's been the 5 of us for 17 years.
It's amazing, and it's a testament. And you know, kids that want to sign up, and you talk about when they're coming up through the little leagues and they're coming up through the Cal Ripkins, and it's like all eyes are on the high school staff because they want to be a part of that tradition, right? So it's like they know who it is that they're going to be playing for 9 times out of 10, and it's just like they strive and they try to impress you guys, and they want to be around the team, and they want to be the guys in red. They want to be the guys in the burnt orange, you know? So I think it's phenomenal. I look at the tradition, you know, with this event being in its 13th year, I don't remember candidly a year where like I haven't seen your teams involved, and for whatever reason Billy Kern, Mr. Matchup Man, I guess he finally couldn't resist. He's like, okay, we got to have Cherokee versus Ocean City.
I think we played once before,
Yeah.
a while ago,
Yeah.
maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
you're
but
right.
the tradition's phenomenal. Talk to me about the kids. So they see this event, it's on the calendar. What are you hearing?
Oh, so for us, you know, when I told them, and they love playing in it because it's like a playoff game. And when I told them we're playing in Margate under the lights on a Friday night, they were ecstatic.
Yeah.
You know, that's like for them. That's like playing at any nice minor league baseball facility in front of a big crowd and in a baseball atmosphere. When you go to play in Margate, you know, the atmosphere itself is just. It's perfect for a baseball game. Even if it's cold, it's just the way that field, the feel of that field, it gives it just such a great thing. And you know, I'm real tight with Yogi.
Yeah.
So I go back a long way on that in that area.
Yeah.
And
And for those of you out there, he's referring to the legend in Margate, Coach Yogi Hiltner, who, as legend would have it, probably planted most of the grass seed at one point by hand
He definitely
out there
did.
in Margate.
Definitely
Like, I mean, he keeps that thing, and the city keeps that thing in pristine condition.
So for me to be able to play on what I think of as Yogi's Field, you know, that's an honor for me. And then to play it this year against one of the guys who I consider a really good friend and a great coach, for me, it's just it was meant to be.
Yeah. And Coach, most of these teams down here, it's like they put the big bullseye on the back of the Cherokee jersey, and they're like, we want the guys from Marlton. We want them down here in our neck of the woods and have our, you know, try to have a shot at them. So how do your guys feel when they see the schedule?
Well, they don't know yet. I told them tonight that
nice.
You know, they're because we try to keep it from them and reveal it tonight, so they'll find out either tonight or tomorrow morning. They're always excited to play in the tournament, though. They know it's a bigger purpose than just the baseball, and you know, we focus so much on the baseball in the 3 months that we have them. It's nice to make them realize, hey, there's bigger purposes in life. There's bigger purposes for us to be part of, not just trying to get wins and trying to, you know, beat teams.
Yeah.
They love playing in it. They love coming down the shore. They don't like it if it was the Saturday 11 a.m. game, but any other game they're on board with. So.
Oh, good. Any special inspirations for either one of you guys this year? Because the more years that we're all in this event, unfortunately, this is a disease that doesn't discriminate, and so it feels like there's just a higher probability that someone close to us is battling.
No, so far, I'd have to say we're pretty fortunate.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, nobody comes to. I mean, I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but it's just for everybody. All the survivors, all the people in memory of that first pitch is an emotional moment for, my Steve, my top assistant, lost his father to cancer, so he throws one out every year, and it's to get you in the feels before the game, and then it's time to play.
It's go time.
Yeah.
Well, let's throw the schedule up one more time for Friday, as we're about halfway through the schedule and the calendar. So again, for the Ocean City and Cherokee fans, it's Gammy versus Overbrook, Clearview versus Rancocas Valley, Delsea versus Shawnee, Holy Spirit versus Lenape, and the Red Raiders versus the Chiefs.
4 straight Olympic games. I didn't realize that.
7 p.m. under the lights, live in Margate on BFA Sports and on Game Changer. So don't go anywhere. We got a few more guests. We got 2 more days of the calendar that we're going to roll through. You can help us kick off the 2025 Down Beach Coaches versus Cancer event by just donating as little as $1. It's right there on your screen, Down Beach-CBC on Venmo. And we will be right back here at Charlie's.
Like Ricky Bobby.
Back at Charlie's Bar and Grill, Doug Stasic, along with my buddies Ricky Bobby and Cal Naughton Jr., also known as Ed Charlton, board member of the Coaches vs. Cancer Classic and proprietor of the Baseball Performance Center. And Overbrook coach Greg Himes is in the building. And guys, you guys are all partial to the powder blue of the Coaches versus Cancer. So, Eddie, I mean, should I be surprised that these helmets are powder blue and they just happen to go very nicely with the Baseball Performance Center gear? Should I be surprised?
They might also double as Oilers helmets in the summer and fall.
Okay. I wasn't.
It's weird how things work out.
Well, listen, man, you got to be worried about costs.
They're stored at the facility. I can't help myself.
Okay. And Coach Himes, you've rolled out the powder blues in your own right, so you love the Phillies alternate uniforms, but you've been able to incorporate it with the Rams for.
Look, we rolled up last year, and the boys were like, look, they got us our own helmets this year. It took me a minute to keep them from going in their bags, by the way.
Well, it's pretty exciting. Coach Himes, the Overbrook Rams, they're going to be playing on Friday in this event. So in the middle of the thick of things in the 5. So talk a little bit about the Rams making yet another appearance. And if I'm not mistaken, Ed Charlton and Mike Adams, some of the darlings of social media, even you guys had to be impressed with the damn double steal, as it's been dubbed.
Double steal.
So, getting into this event, I had called Dan, and I was like, Dan, if you guys have any openings, I'll do whatever I have to. I love the event. They run, it's a Class A program down here, and our guys are excited to be a part of it every year. Last year we got a chance to run that double bingo. And I went back and I was listening to the broadcast because I had to hear you call it. So the Oklahoma was great, but I got to admit, we didn't practice that one time the entire season. One of my guys sent me a Insta post with someone running the double bingo. We talked about it. We played Hamilton the day before. We got in the situation to do it. And I just called it. And it worked. We got a shot, last year against TC, and we just called it again.
So, Ed, you guys train some of the elite athletes that are in the area. They all circle Coaches versus Cancer, and they want to make sure that they're playing for a school that is in this event. And if they're not, you hear a lot, right?
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool because obviously being a part of the event for a while now, and having the facility and a bunch of these guys in,
and old enough to play in the event.
Yeah. But no, it is cool because the guys do get hyped up for this event. The matchups they like. Obviously the one that I am tied to the most, my heart is the Prep Gloucester Catholic game.
Coach Mike Nay under the weather tonight.
Yeah.
So he couldn't make it. He did reach out to Coach. I'm sure that you're watching through your probably Theraflu, Dayquil, and whatever else you might have to be on right now. So, wish you could be here. Know you're certainly excited. And with St. Augustine Prep, it's funny how the season can go because you're, as an alum, did you forecast that season would end in a dog pile and a state championship?
I have a tough time counting the Hermits out these days. It seems every year, just an abundance of talent. Guys leave, reload. I took some notes here today just to talk about some of the players that are involved in the game on both sides. Because I think this game is going to be insane.
So we're talking.
And it always is.
2 state champions.
Yeah.
We're talking St. Augustine Prep versus the Gloucester Catholic Rams.
Yep.
This is must-see TV on BFA Sports, a game changer. One
of the best matchups in South Jersey baseball every year, as long as I can remember, even when I was playing. It's a huge rivalry. A Gloucester Catholic side, Jackson Smollett's going to Coastal Carolina, Noah Danza going to UVA, Guy Lynham going to Auburn, Braden Lipoff going to East Carolina. Those are studs. And there's other guys mixed in there that I'm sure I'm missing, and I just don't know them as well. But I know these guys are studs. And then on St. Augustine's side, you got Joey Irachi going to Rutgers at shortstop, Jamison Dovis, right-handed pitcher, going to Bryant, Alex Weingartner going to Penn State, Brady Jackson going to Old Dominion, DJ Lloyd going to NJIT, Marco Christopher going to LaSalle. There's a ton of Division I talent in this game, in one game in South Jersey. And then, I think Prep's got a couple impact guys that transferred in, a couple arms. Ethan Soupy and Jack Lero, I think they're going to be phenomenal players for them this year. They're sophomores that I think are going to have make a big difference for this team. I'm excited for the game. Obviously, I'm excited for the season. I bleed navy blue. I love St. Augustine Prep. Obviously,
and again,
alumni.
You yourself have played in this event.
No, I missed this event by a year. You just
missed it by a year.
By a year, yeah.
All right. So your partner Mike Adams, the Holy Spirit,
he was in it. Yeah,
he's the one that had played in this event.
And we still played GC. It was not good for us my senior year. We played them up at Eustis in the tournament. They were loaded that year, and they beat the hell out of us.
So Coach Himes.
We'll talk about that though.
Oh, hey, what are you gonna do?
I grew up having to play GC twice a year at Overbrook. That was always tough.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that dynamic, right? So you have homegrown talent from the ground up. You know, these kids gravitate towards the program, but when teams play Overbrook, and just like we talked about the double bingo, the ability to execute, having the relationship and the rapport with these guys growing up, and then you're playing high school all the way, you have this uncanny ability with someone like ESP to know who's doing what and everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, so those guys, it's like everything else in a small town, right? If you play pickup basketball together, you play wiffle ball together, you ride bikes, you do everything together. So once you kind of learn the personalities and the dynamic of these things, you know, as a coach, you got to leverage that sometimes. And that's what I try and really use with those guys. And they're competitive. They have each other's backs. You know, they get into it a little bit, but I always thought that's healthy on a team, right? That kind of feeds that.
You need it.
You do need it. And that means they're competitive and they're willing to get
You can't have
after
guys tiptoeing around, scared to say stuff to each other.
No, but those guys, one thing that I can always say since I've been at Overbrook is I really appreciate the culture. Like when I'm done, I can say we had the right culture.
Yeah.
And they come every day and they're prepared. You know, they're prepared. They buy in. We don't have any uniform issues. I don't have to deal with detentions. We have great grades, high academic kids. I mean, that's what I want in my program. That's what we got. And these guys, when we get a chance to play on a stage like this, remember our first year, we walked in and, man, those lights hit those boys in the eye, and they were like, oh man. Kind of last year, a little bit more prepared. We came down early the night before. We did an overnight. So
nice.
Trying to give those guys like that
experience.
That big program feel, maybe that like low-level college program feel. You get an overnight team dinner. And
that's awesome.
You know, it was good. And it gave us the resolve. Like last year, we started 2-7. You look at that 2-7, we have a loss to a 13-1 Hamilton team by a couple runs. We played Billy Alvaro down at Kingsway. We played Kingsway and Hamilton in the same week last year, right before the CVC. So they want to play guys. They don't want to fill our schedule with anyone who doesn't have dudes. Like we're trying to pick up with a team like GC. They're like, yeah, let's play them. Like, let's go. Like, who cares? Like, it'll be fun. What are we going to do? Lose?
Like, got to lose.
Yeah, like, let's just go get it.
Go compete.
Yeah, we're going to go compete, and they're competing with their buddies. And they get on each other. They pick each other up. I mean, we actually got in trouble one time last year because they're razzing each other so hard
that they thought they were going into the other
Yes,
team.
the umpire shut it down. I literally was like, we're talking to our own players. He's like, we still can't have it. I was like, all right.
So the concept of iron sharpens iron. You see this play out all winter long. You see it play out at the BPC. Coach mentioned it, right? So this competition really kind of elevates. But as these guys are ramping up and you think about what's it like 3 weeks into a season to be playing a game under the lights if you're St. Augustine or Gloucester Catholic in Margate, 7 o'clock on a Saturday at the end of April, you're very familiar with that field. But most of the time you've played on the field has been in the summer as a part of the Hurricanes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've obviously had a lot of great times at that field. The Canes are special and always will be to a lot of people around here.
Yeah.
I love playing in Margate. I'm thrilled. I like the idea of having one game every there's only one game going on. Every game is the main event.
Right.
I like that idea. Having two fields was nice to have, get more games going on. But I do like the idea of each game being the main event. And the game before that game, Mainland Bishop Eustace, that's another, two heavyweight teams going at it. And then, Prep GC has always been packed. It's always been, 2:30 on Saturday.
Well, I was just going to say that. So why don't we take a look at the schedule on Saturday, because this is the first time these teams have played under the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
First time under the lights, and, it is going to be a packed house. There's no doubt about it.
So let's take a look. 9 o'clock, the breakfast special. So grab your bagel, egg, and cheese. Cedar Creek versus Timber Creek.
Battle of the Creeks.
Battle of the Creeks. I've been yelled at about this, but I'm going to just stick with it. The Shuby special. So we got Springford versus Roman Catholic, two Pennsylvania teams at 11:30. Our good friend Willie Liggins, the head coach of Roman Catholic, he's loving the opportunity to come down from Philly. And again, these guys are used to coming down the shore in June and July and taking all of our parking.
Coach Terry's son at Ocean City. Coach Terry's son
coaches Springford.
Springford, yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. 2 o'clock, Williamstown versus Spotswood. 4:30, Mainland versus Bishop Eustace. changing of the guard. So Billy Kern, who is also a board member for the Down Beach CBC, he slides in to the athletic director spot, and now the South Jersey Coach of the Year of 2024, Joe Smith, takes the reins over at Mainland. He's in the house, so we'll probably try to grab him at some point tonight. And then there it is, 7 o'clock, St. Augustine versus Gloucester Catholic. And Ed, how different is it playing under the lights in that environment, and can you even think of what it's like? Because I don't think it's ever happened as far as I know.
Not in the CVC, it hasn't. It's going to be special. The amount of like bad blood that these two teams kind of have for each other, and it's one of the games that just makes the CVC great. It's a marquee matchup every year. These two teams, they're always good, and it's always a great game. It's never one way or the other like a blowout. It's always a phenomenal game. Being under the lights, that packed, like Margate is a great venue. There is going to be people all along the sidelines, the entire outfield. Like it's going to be really cool.
And we're going to encourage them to watch the stream, because if you don't have a seat right up against the fence,
right,
you're going to have a virtual front row seat, courtesy of us at BFA Sports, and certainly Game Changer. Our guy Alex Trezza, the national baseball brand manager for Game Changer. So download the app, gc.com. It's going to be a community event, which means you'll be able to actually see it for free. The cool part there, highlights, official box score, and more. It'll all roll out right through GC.
And when you get done that game, you go to Boca.
Yes.
Big sponsor of the event.
New scoreboard, I hear.
New scoreboard, yep. They're a big part of that. Thank you to Boca, Louis Freeman, the owners.
Coach Himes loves Boca's.
How
Coal
could you
fire
not?
Pizza.
Yeah, you get the Nona's pie and the Thai chili tenders. It doesn't miss.
I keep wanting to grab this drink over here. I'm thinking of the pizza, and I'm like, I'm trying to resist.
No, we're pumped. Boca is helping us out with that scoreboard at Margate. Phenomenal food, cold beer, awesome vibes, great place to go after the games, no matter which game you're at. But it's right around the corner. Great place to eat and hang out.
So, Coach Himes, what does this mean for the Overbrook Rams, your crew? They see this game on the schedule every year. I mean, you talked about how these guys are just jacked and energy. We're familiar with it when it comes to St. Augustine. Fans are familiar with it when it comes to Gloucester Catholic. But some may have not seen an Overbrook Rams game, but your guys bring it just as loud. The school coming down from that, Group 2 into that bigger environment, bigger arena. I mean,
it's like any other kid who likes to compete in the backyard, and you give him a camera in front of his face.
Yeah.
I mean, Overbrook being on the inside looking out is obviously the key. It's led to them working harder in the weight room. It's given us kind of a benchmark every year. I'm like, we can't go there and be bad, guys. Like, we cannot go there and lay an egg. We're not going to be invited back. Right, but that type of atmosphere now, being able to gear up for that's prepared us for postseason play.
Yeah.
Right, we get into some bigger games, or the lights are on us a little more, maybe a little attention. Now they kind of crave that, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like we saw the Delsey play, BFA hitting the
Sports
Center top 10. So when we ran that, we got there, and they were like, Coach, we got to do it today. We got to hit Sports Center. I think we kind of look for it now.
Right.
They're so appreciative every year, honestly. They really are. So, it gears them up. They make them work harder. Keeps us focused, too. It's good.
Well, we're appreciative to have both of you guys involved at the level that you are. Again, we went through the Saturday games. We're going to move on to Sunday when we come back. But help us kick it off. You got it right there on your screen. Downbeach-CVC on Venmo. Every dollar helps. You can make a donation in memory of a loved one. You can make a donation perhaps in honor of someone that continues to fight. But every dollar gets into the hands of local families, and it helps battle cancer, helps go to cancer research through the American Cancer Society and the Gilda's Club.
And scholarships.
And scholarships. We talked about the scholarships. There's going to be 5 scholarships at $2,500 apiece that are going to be awarded to families that have been impacted by cancer. Athletes are on the field, teams giving out and throwing first pitches in honor of those that have been lost and those that continue to battle. And we will continue to fight on here when we return from Charlie's Bar and Grill right here in Summers Point. Been here since 1944, but don't go anywhere as The Coaches versus Cancer Beef and Beer rolls on here on BFA Sports. Back at Charlie's here in Summers Point. It is the Coaches versus Cancer Beef and Beer Kickoff Show. Of course, this year it's the Down Beach-CVC. That's where you want to go on the Venmo app. And right now, I'm joined by two guys that love playing this event. Their teams always put on a display. They come from near and far, but if we're sitting at Charlie's, both of you guys technically came farther than most. So that's Kingsway head coach Bill Alvaro and Spotswood head coach Glenn Fredericks. Fellas, thanks for being here.
I appreciate it, man. We always love coming down here.
So going a little bit farther perhaps this year as we're a little bit closer to the shore. All games, of course, are going to be played in Margate, and we're already rolling on. So, guys, talk a little bit about it. So, Glenn, for you guys, you're coming the farthest, I guess, arguably on the roster as I look, but you're going to play a team with a little bit of a local flavor, something that perhaps you're going to connect with Coach Alvaro offline about, where he can give you a little bit of intel. Of course, Spotswood, 2 o'clock on Saturday. They're going to play the Williamstown Braves, led by Coach Jim Slade. I know Slade's in the building tonight, too, so maybe we'll get a chance to grab him on. But, Coach, what's that like? You're like, we want to play in the CBC, but every single team pretty much that's on this whole sheet, none of them are anywhere near you guys from a competition, so it's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, that's the way we kind of like to do things. If we can get out of conference, play teams that don't know us, we don't know them. Yeah. It's just, it's our 9 versus their 9, and then, whatever you have, coming up there on the mound. If you play all these games so many times, the same teams over and over again, it's really good to get out of conference. And I'm going to, ask Coach here for some information, but you guys are tight-lipped like the GMC guys. You don't give stuff up on your old players, if it's going to help the opponent. But, no, everybody down here, great cause. We're all in it together. And, we just hope to come down here, again, blessed to represent Spotswood, in such a great event, and you guys do such a great job year in and year out. Just very happy to be back in it.
Well, glad to have you here. Coach Alvaro, you've been in this event for many, many years now.
Yeah, we came the first year they had it.
Yeah.
And we've been coming back ever since. No matter where I'm at, I'm always going to come here.
And a big one this year. So you look at the schedule, Kingsway versus Paul VI. Our buddy DM Phillips is on vacation down there in Florida. I guess we all wish that we were down there in Florida right now with this kind of weather. But talk a little bit about what you're looking forward to playing the Eagles.
Well, again, it's a team that we haven't played since I've been at Kingsway, and I've known DM a long time. I coached him at Washington Township, and our brothers grew up together, so we have a nice connection as well. And, we have obviously some kids that go there, so our kids are going to know each other, but again, we haven't had the opportunity to play them yet. They run a good program, so it'll be a great test for us.
Glenn, talk about the kids, the players. This is an event that there's, as far as I know, up by you guys, there really isn't like a coaches versus cancer event. So when they get a chance to come all the way down the shore, play these teams in South Jersey, when you start to show them the schedule for the year and they're like, hey, we're going down the shore, what's that energy like?
Well, our kids bought in from the moment we got in 2 years ago. I was lucky enough, Coach Kern invited me to come down here to play Audubon 2 years ago. Jumped at the opportunity, and our kids they were all in for the cause, for the baseball, right away. Never blinked. It doesn't matter how far we got to travel, we're going to go play the game. It really is. It says a lot about the teams that are involved down here. When you do look at that schedule, you're seeing teams that are ranked in the Star Ledger Top 20. You're seeing teams that are from Pennsylvania that are going to come out here and put on a great show. So you just hope that you can hold up to your standard to come out here like we did last year. We had a great game with Highland last year under the lights in Margate. 7 o'clock game. Our kids had to lost to Kennedy in the morning, Island Kennedy, in a league game in the morning. Took the bus ride down here. Got our wits about us, and we played a really good game at night. It was just an awesome experience. Great bus ride home, all that stuff. Couldn't be more excited to be down here.
Coach Alvaro, as you're looking at the schedule, it's a 3 o'clock Sunday. It's like that perfect matinee game. Everybody kind of sits there and comes together. But what's it like to go back to a format in this event, since you've done it for so many years, that we introduced having 2 fields going at one time, but now Eddie Charlton had mentioned the same thing. All eyes are on one field the whole entire time.
Yeah, and I think it kind of brings back like the old Diamond Classic when you're at a neutral site, you're playing great competition, and everybody's there watching that one game. And that's one of the reasons we always came here. Yeah. It was great. You get a ton of people here for a great cause, and you guys raise a lot of money, and we're just glad to be part of it.
Well, you guys have some loaded rosters this year. You have guys that were young for a period of time. Now they've had some opportunities, kind of, cut their teeth. They're familiar with the bigger stage. They're guys that you kind of start to move up and put in the middle of that lineup. Any standout players for Kingsway that maybe some South Jersey fans just aren't familiar with yet, but you're expecting bigger things from them this year?
I don't know if they're not familiar with them yet. I mean, we have pretty much our whole middle infield back for the last year, 2 years. And our pitching staff is a little bit older, but, the Nate Potts and Logan Taylors and Braden Thorpe in the infield. I mean, God, I would have loved to pitch with that kind of an infield. I might not have lost so many games. So we're excited to have them back. And then our pitching staff, we got a ton of experience. We get Ryan Gollin back this year. We still have Killian McCaffrey. Obviously, Nate's a big part of that as well, and Dylan Patero. So, we got a lot of good experience back.
Swamp Nation, Coach. You
Swamp
got some
Nation.
dogs.
We got some guys that have done this more than a couple of times. Carter Comiskey will be back for us. He's headed to Seton Hall to play with his brother Casey. He'll be playing shortstop this year for the Pirates. Will Buchanan just committed to go to play for Arcadia this year. He'll be our shortstop again. He's back again. So we have guys that have done this. Seb Saraceno started in left field for us 2 years ago as a freshman. He'll be a junior this year. So Jackie Bisco pitched a big game against Highland last year like we talked about before. We got our 1, 2, 3, and 4s back on the mound this year. So we're going to miss Big Luke. He graduated, went to St. John's this year. But, the guys ready to step in, like I told you, a couple times before, it's next guy up mentality type thing. Just like a lot of the guys down here, it's the same message to their kids that we give to ours. And it's just, when it's your time, you go out there, kind of like, don't count your plays, make your plays count kind of thing, and, we'll be ready. It's right in the middle of a huge stretch run for us. Our section is ridiculously tough this year. Central 2 is just a mob scene there with all the Group 3s coming back, Robbinsville, Somerville, GL is still in there, Rumson's still around, and, Allentown played for the Group 3 title. They're all in Central 2 now. So this is going to do nothing for us but make us better, in the end. So we're going to be ready when we're called upon. Can't wait to come down here and play again.
So, Bill, this is like 3 weeks into the season for you guys. What's the ramp up like when you're kind of building out your schedule? Did you put some tougher matchups to kind of make sure that when the lights proverbially come on in this big spot, that you guys are ready to go? Because again, you got a squad that has diamond dreams this year.
Yeah, and we do try to put the hardest schedule we can together, and that's why another reason why we love coming down here. Like Coach said, you come down here, you're going to play somebody good. It's going to get you ready for the Diamond Classic. It's going to get you ready for the state tournament, conference play, things like that. So yeah, I mean, we're obviously, I think that Monday we play Gloucester Catholic. So, it's and then I think we play St. Augustine later, a couple weeks after that. Right. So, but we try to get as many good teams as possible as we can.
Well, we're grateful that you guys are the ones that come down, make the trip, make this such a great event. Anything in particular, since we're now in the 13th season, that gives you that extra inspiration, that extra motivation? Is there anybody close to you guys, or maybe one of your players that another reason you're going to battle and honor them playing in the CBC this year?
Well, we just had one of our big pitchers, Landon Edwards. His mom just passed away from cancer not too long, maybe 3 months ago. So, obviously everybody's affected by it somehow. Our families, everybody has somebody affected by it. But that one kind of really hit close to home because Landon just graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He's a great kid, so.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How about for you, Coach Fredericks?
We're in the same boat. I mean, me from a personal standpoint, aunts, uncles, parents, we've all been touched by it in some way, shape, or form. So we're just gonna, we're gonna keep getting after it. As kids that are blessed to be able to play the game that they love to play. And me personally to be able to coach the game. I'm very privileged and blessed, and we're going to give it a good go here. This year it's such a great cause.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the cancer knows no bounds.
It's amazing.
When you
doesn't
look at
discriminate.
It does not discriminate. My hero growing up, besides my dad, who, passed away from pancreatic. my man was Ryan Sandberg growing up. He's got the
Yeah.
metastatic prostate going right now.
Yeah.
So, even when you look at your heroes growing up, both the ones that you know and some of them that you don't know, but you watch on TV every day, you see somebody passing away, from this thing, we're going to get it done, and we're going to do the best that we can to honor these people that put up such a brave fight.
Yeah.
The cancer doesn't always play fair, man, but you know what? We're ready for the fight.
No question. Well, let's take a look at the Sunday schedule. So 4 games on Sunday. See it here on the Game Changer app. 10 o'clock, it's Southern versus Moorestown. 12:30, it'll be Jackson versus Christian Brothers Academy. 3 p.m., Coach Alvaro and the Kingsway Dragons taking on Paul VI. And at 5:30, the Fighting Clan of Vineland taking on the Tartans of Highland, led by Coach DJ Gore. So there you have it for the Sunday lineup. But don't go anywhere. We're going to give you a little bit more information, maybe grab a couple of the other coaches that kind of got here a little bit later than most, and we'll be back to wrap things up right here live from Charlie's. Coach Glenn, Coach Bill, appreciate you guys being here and being part of the CBC.
Love it, man. Thank you.
All right, you got it.
Don't let me forget to congratulate you guys on the Birds winning that Super Bowl, man.
EAGLES.
Well earned.
It's tough for Glenny to do.
Go Eagles.
All right, Downbeach-CBC. Hit us up, make a donation through Venmo. Help us kick cancer in the butt. Welcome back to Charlie's. It's the Coaches versus Cancer Kickoff Beef and Beer. It's the Downbeach-CVC on Venmo. Help us out. Make a donation. Every dollar counts. And as we get to the tail end of tonight's broadcast, well, we're bringing it in, literally. 4 guys now, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow at the table. And you can kind of see the guys right here. So we have Williamstown's Jim Slade. We got Timber Creek's, of course, John Cates. And Jacksonville's Pat George. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You guys all made a drive, right? All made a drive to get down here, and then you find out, hey, we're going to go to Margate. So the drive's maybe just a little bit longer. But nonetheless, I know that you guys look at this event every single year, and it's that must-play, must-be-in type of event. So, Coach Slade over there in Williamstown, you guys are familiar with BFA right now. The crew's actually at Williamstown doing a basketball game.
Okay.
And, from football season. So now you come into the fold for the CVC with us. Talk about having the opportunity to play in this event. How much you guys look forward to it?
Yeah, we definitely, it's one of the games, we circle on the calendar, regardless who we're playing. We know people are going to be there watching. It's one of the things the kids ask about every year, are we doing the CVC again? And it's like, yes, we're in it. It's just a cool atmosphere, obviously for a great cause. So we're happy to be in it, happy to be invited back every year.
Coach Kate, Creek versus Creek. I mean, they really got original with that one.
Absolutely.
So, again, another game where you guys are playing all these events out of this schedule out of conference. So now when you look at a very deep Cedar Creek team, one that's been known to have some pitching and the like, how are you guys feeling about coming into this type of event when Coach Kern calls? Well, now athletic
That's
director
right.
Kern.
He's a big wig now.
Yeah, he's big time. He says,
insult him.
hey, I got a great idea. Let's go Creek versus Creek.
Yeah, no, listen, we're all in. I mean, honestly, I look at this as a great test for moving into the playoffs, right, where you're going to have to beat good pitching. So we always want to play good competition, and Cedar Creek's going to be a tough game. But, kind of echo what Jimmy said, our guys look forward to it, and it's a great test, and hopefully something we can kind of pass there,
Yeah. So, Pat, you are always looking to make the trek, and they always seem to want to make your schedule that much harder. So now Christian Brothers Academy. So you guys had another outstanding season last year. You draw CBA, and now this is known to be kind of a powerhouse from the north.
Mm-hmm. So CBA's in our, the short conference.
Right.
So it's good to see them. I had originally had them for a scrimmage. So when we found out we were playing each other, we're like, all right, we're just going to can the scrimmage and go for April. But, no matter where we're playing, it's going to be a good, showdown between the two of us, 2 local short teams going against each other outside the short conference, too. It brings more attention to the short conference, too, but it also gets more eyes on, again, the Coaches versus Cancer for what it does, what it is every year. And everybody asks us up north, what is this Coaches versus Cancer? I'm like, you really got to see it to believe it, because it is that good of a showcase.
And you think about an event, you guys, Coach Slade, you're on the schedule. You look at, April is not usually one of those months where you're like, hey, we got something big time that's going to pop up on the schedule, other than maybe some of your divisional or your conference play. Mm-hmm. But to have something like this, a marquee event, to try to help kind of launch or energize your team, what's that like? I mean, how strategic is it 3 weeks into the season?
Yeah, it's cool because you want to go out, like you said, it's early in the season, but you still want to kind of show South Jersey and the state, whatever, who you are, kind of a thing. So you definitely want to, play your best game, maybe, save a pitcher or, whatever, get some good looks from other teams. And you usually play a team that you don't normally play on your schedule, which is kind of cool. We're playing Spotswood this year from up north. So, the game before us, you get to watch. The game after us, they're there, watching us at the end. So it's just a cool atmosphere and definitely something where you want to, play a good game that day.
Coach Cates, you guys get the 9 o'clock start on a Saturday during spring break week.
So we requested that, actually.
Really?
Billy Kern did us a big favor. So we're coming down to play Lower Cape May on Friday night under the lights.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I said, if there's any way possible, if we could play early Saturday, we're going to get a hotel and stay over and kind of do the whole thing up. So
love it.
Yeah, we're making this into a big weekend for the program.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about making memories.
That's right. Yeah, it should be
cool.
good.
Very cool. So lower Cape May under the lights and then turn it back around. That's a beautiful facility down there.
It'll
where
be
you
my
guys are
first
playing, too.
time. We've played them, but only at home, so I haven't
Okay.
been there yet. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Coach, so you're playing a conference opponent. You're playing on a neutral field. And again, you guys are playing in I still say I laugh, but we're playing in Margate in April, right? What kind of preparation do you guys really kind of have? And, are you close enough in Jackson where, for those that aren't familiar with it, like, there's some really wide open areas. There's some great baseball venues and the like. Do you really see the setup or the weather being as much of a factor as most might think, or no?
No, not really. By that time, you've gone through it all: sleet, snow, rain, cold, warm. That's New Jersey weather.
Mm-hmm.
But you prepare yourself for late April, early May, when the season starts to take a turn for tournaments and whatnot. So by the time our game rolls around, we're looking forward to it every year. The kids always ask, like Coach Slade was saying for Williamstown, who do we have? What dates are we playing? You kind of just you embrace all that, and your schedule might be tailored to it. Maybe this is the first big one, the second big one, the fifth big one, who knows? But, you just embrace every game up until that point because it gets you ready for this moment.
Coach Cates, so you mentioned like a trip, an overnight kind of stay. Do you or your team do anything specific for like a quote-unquote spring training or kind of camp beyond the regular workouts? You guys go anywhere or anything like that?
No, a couple of years ago we traveled with Cherokee to go play down in Virginia there, but no, we haven't done anything like an extended stay that way. So this is kind of like our big event this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Coach Slade?
Yeah, we're actually we're going down to Myrtle Beach this year for preseason. Yep.
Okay.
We did it a couple years ago. The kids enjoyed it, and we're bringing it back this year. So it's been fun, fundraising, planning, all that stuff. So the kids enjoy it. The kids love it. Get a bunch of scrimmages in, and hopefully come back ready to go for the season.
Yeah. Coach George, anything interesting for the crew of Jackson?
No.
All right.
No, I don't want to take them out of state, but what we do is we tailor our preseason schedule to teams that are at our level or above us to get us ready for the upcoming season. Again, we'll grind out the weather any way we can, but we try to get as many scrimmages as we can against whatever teams are able to travel or we can travel to.
So I've been told multiple times over that when people watch the live streams of these events, it's like they find a player on a team that happens to get a chance to shine. It was like a younger guy that's just playing varsity for the first time, or maybe somebody that was kind of a role player the year before, and now he's taking on a bigger role because someone graduated. Coach George, do you have any of those players that fit that mold top of mind that were like, you're going to want to take a look at this guy?
So our name that comes to mind is Tyler Huzzy, who's committed to NJIT. He's a senior catcher. He's a 4-year player, 3-year starter. He was here when Zach Crotchfeld pitched against Bishop Eustace a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
We had him in the pen just getting experience, seeing high-level pitching. I think it has benefited him. The last 3 years he's just grown behind the plate, at the plate, in the field as well. With him committing to NJIT, it just shows the work ethic that he has, and any future catcher that comes to us. I mean, we've had great fortune to have great catchers besides Tyler Huzzy.
Yeah.
But he's the next in line to make a name for himself. I mean, when you think of Jackson, you think of Matt Dice, who's with the pros right now with the Angels. So for him to step into a catching spot in Jackson Memorial, hopefully that entices more kids to get behind the plate and give it a shot. So he's a name you definitely want to keep an eye on.
I love it. Coach Cates, how about for you?
Yeah, we have a kid who we're really excited about that probably would have been a starter for us in the outfield last year. He broke his foot early on. Justin Fagans, who should hopefully win a job for us out there, fly around in center field. And we have a transfer in Tyler McCullough, who we're very high on, who we think is going to take a pretty big role with us both on the mound and at shortstop.
Love to hear it. Coach Slade, you guys always seem to have these 2 and 3 sport athletes that
We try. So we have Ryan Walker. He's been he was actually up with us as a freshman pitching, and he proved himself last year to be an outfielder too. So he's kind of a dual threat. Marco Colbert, is that obviously he's looking to be a help for us this year as a sophomore. So we're pretty young. We got a young core. with some good seniors who can fill in some spots. So we're hoping to kind of turn a little corner this year and start getting back to Braves baseball.
Well, I'm excited for the season, excited that all of you guys are making the trek back, and the fact that, the transition, I've been talking about this to some of the other coaches, instead of having 2 fields going at once, it's like the main event. So there's only one game going on at a time. Everybody likes to line up along the fields. It's an awesome venue to actually watch a game and to be able to kind of spread out a little bit. So, again, excited to have you guys on board, and thanks for making the trip down for tonight for the kickoff for the beef and beer. So don't go anywhere. We are ready to make it a wrap. We're going to go through the schedule one last time. We're going to talk about how you can make some contact to try to apply for the scholarships, and most importantly, how all of you, your friends and family, can help contribute and make this an outstanding event as we continue the battle to strike out cancer right here on BFA Sports. welcome back to Charlie's, home of the Beef and Beer tonight, kicking off the Down Beach CBC. You can help us strike out cancer, make a donation in honor of those that you may have lost or those that continue to battle. You can do it right there, top of your screen, Down Beach-CVC on Venmo. You can scan the QR code at the bottom. And now I'm joined by a couple of board members that have put in their time in more ways than one. So that's none other than Dan Fimiani and, of course, Billy Kern, the newly minted athletic director at Mainland Regional High School. So as Coach, I don't want to say hang up the clipboard because now you just get a different clipboard and there's a lot longer of a list. And probably where you thought you weren't popular as the coach, you're probably even less popular now with all the parents. But obviously I say that tongue-in-cheek. Congratulations, number one.
Thank you.
You got some big shoes to fill. Mike Gatley is one of my all-time favorite guys, is always willing to go above and beyond for the kids and make it memorable. And now you get to try to carry the torch, so good luck to you.
Thank you. Obviously, following Mike is something that's not only difficult because of how successful he's been everywhere he went, but it's also something that I look forward to because he's such a great mentor and he's such a easy person to call. And in terms of the last over a decade at Mainland, he's kind of got everything lined up as how to do things the right way and to always put the kids first. So looking forward to just kind of keeping the ship moving in the right direction. And I appreciate you congratulating me on the new job and having both of us on.
Yeah. Fim, it's been a busy year for CVC. Yeah. So this event year after year seems to get just bigger, better, more teams want to knock down the door. You know, Billy is the one responsible to try to make some of these matchups. But behind the scenes, make a shift, go back to a format where all the teams will play on one field. Down Beach flavor to it, recognizing that you got the teams that are from South Jersey, but then you have the teams that, you know, kind of haul down from the Parkway, and then always now a handful of teams from Pennsylvania that are familiar with traveling to the shore. So talk about that draw now to the shore and now being at like a storied field from a South Jersey baseball perspective playing at Margate.
I think it's awesome. I think, anytime there's change, there's always excitement. I'm looking forward to the venue. I think, as you saw from last year, it's an electric venue. I think it can get packed all the way around, and now having the one field, hopefully get like a little stadium feel with all the people surrounding everything. I think, like I said, it's a cool venue, but it's also in an area it's a prideful area. So I love their baseball in Margate, and I think we're excited to bring a lot of the talent that we put on every year. That we bring into the event. Excited to put that on display.
Well, we're seeing some of the gear on display. So, of course, Eddie Charlton's powder blue signature is put on everything. So we got the Marucci bats. So, the Mike Trout autographed baseball will go into the hands of the players, which has been a tradition, I feel like, as long as I can now remember. The Marucci bat that goes along with it. But also these businesses and local people that are willing to step up and donate raffle items and gifts. It just seems to grow. It's just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, Fim, talk about the business owners that might still be sitting on the sidelines wondering how they can get in or how they can contribute. It's a website?
Yeah, we have our website, downbeachcvc.com. We have our social media outlets. We also have our email contacts that we've posted up. And I think reaching out in any way in capacity to Bill Kern or Mike Edwards or Brent Bean is a really good way to get involved. All our guys are on the front line, kind of bringing people in, bringing business owners in. And I think you start to see more and more people want to contribute and be a part of it because it becomes something that, unfortunately it affects us all in some way, shape, or form. And realizing a simple way to give back to the community and also be involved with a lot of athletes, a lot of youth athletes, and bringing in a lot of good outside teams, good outside communities back into the community that we're in now, and it's special to see.
So Billy, you do the matchups. You took advantage, it looks like, of spring break. So you're putting your AD hat on. You're like, hey, I got an idea. Right, because originally I was really shocked in a good way when I opened up the schedule. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, This thing's going Thursday to Sunday. That's a first.
So what we were trying to do with the transition to Margate is make sure that we could include as many of the teams that have been with us for several years, both in Millville, to Mainland, and now to our new venue. It's not going to happen all the time where you get to take advantage of spring break. We actually, as an organization, we've been planning this a year or two out. Yeah. We looked ahead, and we knew this was going to be an opportunity for us to loop some teams in. So that's why you're going to see some Philadelphia flavor this year, some new matchups mixed with the traditional GC St. Augusta matchup, and also moving over to the Margate venue, which has lights, is the big reason we decided that game doesn't belong at Sunday afternoon anymore. When we have the chance, we're going to throw it over to Saturday night, and I don't think there'll be a bigger or louder crowd all season than what's going to go on for that Saturday night GC prep game.
I think I lost count at about 12 D1 scholarship athletes that are going to be playing in that game under the lights.
Several.
So something that's happened now also with our event, not to mention the sponsors, but from the baseball side of it, I know Fim can attest to this also. I mean, I got a message this week, do you have any room to get in the event? Not from a high school coach, from a PBR guy. I need to see this kid in a big venue. Do you have a room for this team? So that's kind of cool from our perspective that people want to see the kids against the best competition around with the live stream so they can go back and kind of double check what they saw. So what we're really trying to do is just give kids an opportunity to perform their best in the best venue against the best competition. And fortunately for us, and I've said it year after year, the baseball community is just different than other sports. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of respect between coaches, and we candidly, we don't get people that say no to the matchups we make. Right. And the teams that have been with us are with us for a long time. We're as loyal to them as they are to us. So it's we're excited about this. It
has such a fraternity vibe to it.
It does,
right? Like, it's really a special group of guys. And to me, this is the night that I always circle on the calendar because it feels like a reunion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you kind of go into hibernation a bit. Guys go their separate ways. You know, a lot of times your coach is involved in even different sports. But yet, this is the one thing that always brings everybody back. It's a badge of honor. It's like, hey, I remember meeting this guy through the CVC. And then you start to kind of get connected, and then you start to learn about their battles and a little bit more about their family. And it's really it's just so unique in so many ways. You know, you talked about some of these players, and now, like, you know, PBR and some of the scouting services. Like, hey, I'd love to see this kid do this or do that. You know, Billy, you sent me a link the other day. And Baseball America was talking about seeing Mainland alum Chase Petty, like how he was kind of discovered where they saw him in some of these like big spots and big events. And, you know, they mentioned like, oh, this high school broadcast that was over there by Mainland. And we all kind of chuckled. But what I want to say is this thank you, right? Because we've always had this shared philosophy, and I say we as in terms of, you know, all of you guys on the board, all the guys that have been involved in this like coaching circle. But when I first came on board, it was about, I was like, hey, listen, I always want to be a part of something where we're doing good things for good reasons with good people, and good things will happen.
Absolutely.
And for our organization in BFA, what a lot of people don't realize is that Coaches versus Cancer is essentially what put us on the map, right? Like, it was a reason, it was an event big enough for people to want to see it, put us under a little bit of a microscope and some pressure and a lens. But, you know, we met our partners at Game Changer, and now we do national events with Game Changer. Last Saturday, we did Division I women's softball on the MLB network through our friends at Game Changer, and that doesn't happen without the CVC. And so I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, and I'll mention it again now, I guess I consider myself pretty lucky because I never really felt the impact that cancer can have on a family, you know, up close and personal. And then for me, just a few short months ago, you know, I was like, my father-in-law fell ill, and it only took 2 months for him to be gone. But I watched the battle that he had for those last couple weeks, as painful as it was and what he was going through. But he always loved this event, and he loved watching the stream, and he liked watching those local guys. guys that we've seen get drafted. Like Josh Hood's in the Seattle Mariners organization. We talked about Chase Petty, who's obviously moved up now to AAA, and he's only probably one move away from going to the show. So we wanted to kind of honor what this is about and the true baseball fans and doing good for good people for good reasons. And so we added to the scholarship fund in memory of my father-in-law this year. But I just have never had a chance to really slow down because we've always been so busy to say thank you to you guys. I think every time that you're going to grow and you have something that's really successful, you're always going to go through growing pains. And whether it's, a change of venue, it's a change of the teams, it's a change in schedule, it's the change of the leadership. When you have good guys that have started something for good reasons, you got to always find that common ground to know that, like, you're always going to make the tough decisions because you know that it benefits way more people that are outside the organization in it.
Yep.
And that's what's made you guys successful, and that's what's always going to separate this event from any other and its uniqueness, because no matter what, always going to be in a position that these kids wake up and tomorrow they're going to go on X and they're going to say, we're back in the CVC. I get a chance to play it again. I got another video that I can sit there, and my grandpa who lives in California is going to get a chance to see me play baseball, and he never ever would. Those are the things I think that make it great. 200,000 in donations that have been given to the American Cancer Society, over 20-some thousand in terms of scholarship, and now every year $12,500 in scholarships are given out to 5 kids. So you guys do tremendous work. I'm blessed in so many ways, and I can never repay you guys for the good that you brought into my life.
Thank you. Doug, I remember sitting back here. I remember where we were sitting. Me, you, and Mike sat down, and I didn't know you, really.
Yeah.
Mike didn't know you. We knew of each other. And I remember sitting down because my kid got sick that night. I don't know if you remember. I had to leave to the emergency room in the middle of our meeting. But it was basically 3 people sitting down and being like, we got a good crew. And you saying, I got a great crew, too. What do you think if we just blow this thing out of the water, and kind of taking a chance on each other?
Yeah.
That it was gonna work. And 7-8 years later, it's kind of just what we do, and it's more of you're as much a board member with us as, and that's what we think of you.
Yeah.
Because of what you've brought exposure-wise to our event and the commitment you've made to us through baseball, through kids, things like that, through the things you do behind the scenes. And it's never been about expanding your business. It's always been about our cause and these kids. So we appreciate the kind words, but none of this is possible without you as well.
Yeah, it's really not. And, we're sorry to hear about your loss, but, we're here for you. And as are, a lot of the people behind you. And we all find our purpose of why we do it. I know why I do it. It's touched my family in pretty harsh ways. And, but to have somebody on board like you and your crew, I mean, it's you said something to us in the very beginning when all of this was starting, even before getting into CVC, and it was all about, wait, we can do this, and we can get some kids some exposure and help out kids, and it's always seemed like that's what it was about for you, and that's been phenomenal. So it's no surprise, based off the work that you guys do, that there's been success through everything that you do, and that you've grown, and it's amazing. And there's no better people deserving than you and your crew.
Well, thank you for all the love, all the kind words, and here's the great news. We are blowing it out again. So I'm going to tell all the South Jersey baseball fans everywhere, you're going to get 4 camera angles on instant replay starting this season on BFA, and it's going to be unveiled to you live at the Coaches versus Cancer. So anytime that we get a new wrinkle, we always bring it to you guys first.
Awesome.
So that means that we got a replay studio. I'm not going to tell you where it is because that probably wouldn't be great. but we got a remote replay studio. We got a remote production set. It is going to be absolutely stellar. And so the same platform that we broadcast onto the MLB network will be broadcast for Coaches versus Cancer.
Awesome.
So
we're looking forward to it.
Stay tuned. We'll cut this up. We're going to wrap this up. I know we've been here longer than probably anticipated, but I can never help myself. But again, the vision of this organization is best in class. The future of it is going to continue to be best in class, and whatever we can do with BFA, put us front and center, and we're here for you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate
All
it,
right.
man.
And thanks to the Thomas family here at Charlie's. As always, Billy, they step up time and again to launch this event each year.
I mean, you said it best, whether it's our maintenance, whether it's our coaches, whether it's production, whether it's this behind the scenes, it's just we have been very, very, very fortunate to surround ourselves with people who are selfless and people who care more about the cause and the kids than the pat on the back and the credit for it. You've never seen, I mean, we've tried to get Jimmy and Jeff to sit here and talk, and they're all about what we're about, and it's not just Coaches vs. Cancer, it's any community event. You'll see their name on everything. So we're fortunate to have them, Game Changer, PBR, and I hesitate to start naming everybody because we're so blessed. We're going to be over at DJD in a couple weeks. They've been huge behind us, and Tommy Zanaris and his crew. So the thanks would take all night, and we just can't do this and can't do what we do and be able to see the smiles and be able to get the notes that someone's able to make the tuition payment or get the books, and that's what it's really all about, and that's why our focus is on those scholarships and seeing what this community is doing, stay in the community with our South Jersey kids. So, looking forward to another great event. Thank you, and thank you to the South Jersey baseball community for everything that all the support everyone's given us over the last several years.
So help us kick off the 2025 campaign tonight. You can go right there, Downbeach-CVC on Venmo. Every dollar helps, small or large. We will certainly take it all and make sure it goes to a great cause. And one more thank you that I have, and that is to the man who is off camera to my left, Mr. Dave Virgilio. I talked about the technological advances that we have behind the scenes. This guy burns more midnight oil than anybody I've ever met in my life. I get a lot of accolades and a lot of high fives myself. My OG brother from another, Al Fisher. My partner's Jimmy G, Robbie Haydak. And the reality of it is, a guy like Dave Virgilio is the one that is responsible for making all this magic happen. And I just wanted to take time. I know he's going above and beyond. Today has been a long day. It's actually been a long week after we were with the MLB Network. But he continues to step it up and help us really look like, I'll say it, you know, a lot of people say, hey, you guys got a pretty cool vibe, almost like you're a mini ESPN. So who knows what the future may hold, but we're going to continue to shine our brightest. So thank you for the Thomas family for being great hosts tonight here at Charlie's. Thank you to the entire Coaches vs. Cancer board. I saw Hats was in the building. We didn't get him on. You got your man with the plan over there at Maintenance Mainland, Gary. Gary Brick is a legend in his own right. So thank you, Billy Kern. Thank you, Mike Edwards. Thank you, Ed Charlton. Thank you, Mike Adams. Thank you, Dan Fimiani. Thanks, Steve Normain. I don't know if I got them all, but
Brent Bean.
Oh, Brent Bean, of course.
Blair Hayden.
Hayden.
Sean Coyle. We got a couple more guys behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But thank you, bud.
It takes a village, and that will do it. So we're going to roll through the schedule one more quick time. Dave, give us Thursday. Cherry Hill East versus Haddon Township. Bridgton versus Atlantic City. Cherry Hill West versus Hamilton. Then we go to Friday. Absegami versus Overbrook. Clearview versus Rancocas Valley. Delsey versus Shawnee. Holy Spirit versus Lenape. Ocean City versus Cherokee. Saturday, Cedar Creek versus Timber Creek. Springford, Pennsylvania versus Roman Catholic, Pennsylvania. Williamstown versus Spotswood. Mainland versus Bishop Eustace. St. Augustine versus Gloucester Catholic under the lights. And Sunday, we close it out. Southern versus Moorestown. Jackson versus Christian Brothers Academy. Kingsway versus Paul VI. Vineland versus Highland. It'll all be right here on BFA Sports. And do yourself a favor. It's going to be on Game Changer. Download the Game Changer app, gc.com, on your favorite iOS or Android mobile device.
The last group I want to thank, because I don't think people know that the Atlantic County Umpires Association, every single year, Jimmy Conover and the crew every single game that you see, 3-man crews, absolutely 100% donated to the cause. They don't take a dime, and we can't just do this event without Jimmy and those guys. So to the ACUA guys, appreciate everything you do as well.
All right. Our producer tonight, Mr. Dave Virgilio, for all of us at BFA Sports and Down Beach Coaches versus Cancer. I'm Doug Stasic. We can't wait to see you play ball.